All the way from the home office in Des Moines, here are your Fact or Fiction's QB rushing props. All right, let's start with Baltimore's Lamar Jackson. Ran for over 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons in 2019 and 2020. Last year, he slipped to under 800 yards. So his over-under at BetMGM right now, 850. And the BetQL computer projects him to go for 826 this season. So both numbers pretty close. Fact or Fiction, Jenks. Lamar Jackson goes over both the BetQL prediction and the BetMGM number.
I think he does. I'm going to go fact. I think we're in for a massive year from Lamar Jackson. And remember, at the end of last year, he had that banged up ankle where he played a little, but he was just not the same player that we were used to seeing. We're talking about a former MVP who's essentially in a contract year, negotiating his own contract with the Ravens. And also, because that defense is going to be better, because he's going to have more help on offense, I think we're going to see more opportunities for Lamar to get back on the field because we're going to see less sustained drives by opposing offenses. So I'm all in on Lamar. I've been saying that for months. I'm not going to stop now. I call it a fact.
Yeah, I think he has the opportunity to eclipse this by a lot. He has rushed for over 1,000 yards in 2 seasons. So the fact that he had almost 800 yards last season and he only played in 12 games, give me the over. Contract year for Lamar Jackson. Hollywood Brown is now gone. So yeah, I think Lamar Jackson runs wild this year. And that's really the basis of their offense anyway. The fact that they should have their running back room a little bit more healthy. I think that'll extend these drives a little bit more and give him more opportunity to stay on the field. So let's go over for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I'll make it 3 for 3. I'll go with the over as well. And you mentioned J.K. Dobbins being back. I think that's going to be helpful for them. And the sabotage factors, you guys like to say, is if he can stay healthy or not. And that's always a concern with any of these guys that are running around out of the pocket, trying to get to the outside, trying to make plays downfield with their legs. All it takes is one hit. He's out for a couple games, and then this number's in jeopardy. But if he's out there and he's starting 16, 17 games for them, if they haven't had the division wrapped up by week 17, then I think obviously he's going to be able to get to this number. I don't think it's a question of whether or not he can do it. It's a question of whether or not he can stay healthy enough to do it. Any concern that the injury bug pops up again?
Yeah, I think that's why this number is at where it's at. But I think when you have a player that has the potential to go way over this number, if they can even stay on the field, even if he misses a couple games, because like we said, he almost got this number last year and only played in 12 games. So I think when you have the potential to exceed this number by a lot, you still have to take the over.
All right, let's say over.
I just agree here. And I know injury is always a thing, particularly when you do as much as Lamar Jackson does. But I also think we have a little bit of recency. Well, maybe it's recency bias if you think he's going to remain banged up, or there is that possibility because throughout his career, he's been really resilient. He's a tough guy. So that's why I'm going factor.
All right, let's go Fact or Fiction number 2. We'll head to the NFC East. The Eagles, Jalen Hurts, wasn't shy about running last season. He put up 784 yards on the ground in just 15 games. BetMGM has put his rushing yard prop below that total. His prop is at 700 yards rushing. The BetQL simulation has Hurts rushing for over 800 yards on the season. So Fact or Fiction, Chelsa, BetQL has this correct. Hurts will go over that prop of 700 rushing yards.
Yeah, I think so. And this is more to do with the offense being more efficient. I think everybody's going to say, oh, well, now they have A.J. Brown. They're going to be passing the ball more. That really wasn't the case last year. He had plenty of good down the field targets last year, and they still were way more efficient when they were running the ball. So I think this is still going to be a run-first offense. Jalen Hurts has proven that he is extremely dangerous with his legs. And even if they do throw the ball more, I think the opportunity is going to be there because the offense is going to work better and they're going to have more time on the field. They're going to be closer in some of these games to win ball games. So I still think that this one goes over with Jalen Hurts.
I do too. I love what the Eagles have done during the offseason. And not only does Jalen Hurts have more weapons, but he has a better line in front of him as well. And we've talked about numerous times on the show how the Eagles, once they went to more of a run-based offense, then they started having a lot of success. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw more design runs for Jalen Hurts, because they can really open up the field now and keep defenses guessing. This is a guy who can run and who has been remarkably stable, and a guy who's been upright, been able to take the hits. And I think he's going to get better at the quarterback position. I don't necessarily know yet if he's going to be a great passer, but we know he can run. He's got a better team around him. I love it. Fact.
See, I'm going to go fiction on this only because I think they are going to try to keep him in the pocket more to prove that he can be a pocket quarterback, that he can be a quarterback that throws the ball down the field. That's why they brought in A.J. Brown. That's why they made these moves, is to try to help him in that offense so he doesn't have to run for 750, 800, 850 yards, during the season. I think he'll take advantage when the play breaks down. I think they'll have the occasional designed run for him, but I really think that the Eagles want to keep this guy as healthy as possible. Again, I go back to Lamar Jackson and other quarterbacks that have a tendency to run. The injury factor is always there. They've got a great chance to win the NFC East. I think they can take that division back from Dallas, but they can't do it if Jalen Hurts is on the sideline holding the clipboard or has a headset on because he got hurt trying to run for an extra 5, 6, 7 yards in the game prior. So I think he'll come close to this number, but I'm going to go on the backside and say that he ends up between 650, 675. So I think he's going to end up going under that total. And it's not because he can't do it. It's because I don't think they want him to do it.
Didn't they start the season like that last year, though, and it didn't work? I'm not sure what the obsession is with people needing to make guys into pocket passers. I get the health concerns, and you are way more prone to injuries if you're not a pocket passer. But sometimes you got to see a guy's strength and ride with it. And that's why the Eagles offense was much better in the second half of the season, because they committed to the run and they were good at it. They had the second best rush attack in the entire NFL. So with the offensive line being as good as it is, I think they stick with what got them there last year. I know they have A.J. Brown now, but still, Jalen Hurts has not proven to me that he's a pocket passer. And until he does, I'll be riding his rush props.
It's probably a great way to look at it. Again, I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do for them to have him in the pocket. I just think that's what they're going to try to do, because they look around the league and it's a passing league. I mean, you can have these dual threat guys, but ultimately, who's winning the Super Bowls? Who's winning the titles? Most often or not, it's guys that have somebody that can stand back there and throw it 35, 40 times a game, and you're winning football games that way. So that's my only argument on why he shouldn't run as much as he has in the past. It's because I think the Eagles, I think the NFL in general, people look at it and say, you've got to be able to throw 300, 350 yards a contest if you're going to end up winning championships. That's how it's been won here for the last decade or so. So, all right, let's go.
I agree with you, but yeah, we can move on.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, Chels.
I'm just saying, at some point you have to play to your team's strengths and not their weaknesses. Like, he's not going to be Tom Brady. And yeah, that's kind of the way that the league has gone, to where it's these high flying offenses with pocket passing quarterbacks. But still, you've got to win regular season games. And Jalen Hurts, I keep thinking that he's a rookie, and he's not. He's already had a season and a half, right, in the NFL, and he hasn't shown it yet. So until he does, I think you stick with dance with the girl that brought you? That's what I'm sticking with.
All right, real quick, let's get this last one in. Josh Allen in Buffalo set a career high in 2021 with 763 rushing yards, and he's gone over 500 yards in 3 of his 4 NFL seasons. BetMGM expecting a big step back from those 760 yards. His rushing prop is just 525. BetQL, much more bullish. They say he's going over 700 yards for the season. So factor fiction jinx. Josh Allen goes back over 700 yards rushing again in 2022.
I agree with the Donkster here. This is the Bills' year. Everything is setting up for this to be the one year that Buffalo finally breaks through and wins that Super Bowl. And there's a reason why that Josh Allen is the favorite to win the MVP. I just believe that Allen knows the Bills. Everyone knows this is their time, and he is going to do everything in his power to win games, even if it means taking off and taking punishment. It sort of reminds me, even though I know it was late in his career, when John Elway played in the Super Bowl, and there's that famous play where he takes off and he gets hit and he spins around in the air. And John Elway, late in his career, was not a runner like that, but he was going to get every yard possible because he wanted that world championship. I think Josh Allen's going to be that guy too. Fact.
Right, but we're not talking about the postseason here. We're talking about regular season.
Honestly, about motivation.
I feel like this one's right, but this is honestly, I feel like it's a coin flip because yeah, he can run for those extra yards at the end of the game, but this is still a pretty high number that he has not eclipsed in 2 of the last 3 seasons. So maybe he goes over it. I don't know. I don't think this is a safe bet in any way because if anybody can beat you in the air too, it's Josh Allen. He's a pocket passer too. So I'm not sure if this is an easy win, and for that reason, it's a stay away for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, Chelsea. I think this is fiction that he goes over the 700 yards. I do think he gets over the 525 that BetMGM has. So I'm kind of in between the 525 and the 700. Jinx, I'm surprised you think he's going to be running around that much.
Yeah, I really do. I just believe that now he is set up and he's set up for success, and he's actually dealing with, I think, a little less competition in the past because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be as good. I think he's going to be able to take off, and I think he's going to be even better than we've seen in the past. I really do.
I think he can still be a great quarterback and still be really dynamic with his feet and still not go over this number. So I am very, very torn.